I've been driving this used Prius for 1 year, and you're not going to believe how much money I've saved. In gas money, of course. Hey everybody, welcome back. So, we live in the country now. We've lived here about 4 years, and one of the big hurdles to moving to the country was I still wanted to work where I still work at. I'm a school teacher, and the school I work at is now 35 miles away, almost 33 miles away from where we live. I have a decent drive every morning, but that's okay. So I had a conundrum. I did not know if I could afford the gas to get to work and back every day, month in, month out. So I wanted to be clear, this is my experience with the used Prius, so my numbers aren't going to be the same as anyone else's numbers. But I have saved a lot of money driving this Prius, mainly for two factors. One, I drive about 65 miles a day round trip for work, so that adds up with miles. Second, the car I had previously to this, again, was the Nissan Pathfinder, a 95 Pathfinder. I only got 17 miles a gallon in that car, so I really was spending over $300 a month, cha-ching, with my old car and gas, and that was an expense I couldn't do anything about because I had to drive to work, and it just kept adding up for those first couple of years living here. But then the car died, and I had to make a decision. Now, we have a gigantic truck, an F-350. Amy drives that a lot for horse transporting and for horse lessons and hauling hay. I use it for mulch. But I needed a car that was way more efficient for gas mileage. I had to give up the SUV finally after all these years. So these are my numbers. Last year, it hasn't even been a full year yet. It's almost a year. In about 2 weeks, I'll have had this car for 1 year of driving. But in almost a year, I've driven 21,000 miles. That's a little bit higher than the average driver for sure. I mean, like I said, I drive 65 miles a day on average, not counting weekends. And we've driven this car to St. Louis and back. I think those are the big trips I've gone on in the last year or so. So at 17 miles per gallon, let's do the math here. So my old car, the Nissan Pathfinder, 17 miles a gallon, driving 21,000 miles, I would use 1,235 gallons of gas. That's a lot of gas for a year. And I am making the assumption that gas, the average cost of gas was $2.50, which I think is actually a little low. But if I drove 1,235 miles with $2.50 as my rate for a gallon of gas, I would have spent $3,087 on gas for 21,000 miles. With the Prius, my average is 52 miles per gallon. Now, I've gotten, my worst gas mileage ever was 47 miles per gallon. That was in the wintertime when I was running the heat. My best gas mileage was actually over 57 miles per gallon. That's in the spring when I'm not running heat or air conditioning. So my average, though, has been 52 miles per gallon since I've had this car. With 52 miles per gallon, I used only 404 gallons of gas. That's basically, I had to fill up my gas tank 40 times in a year. I don't even know how many times I had to fill up the Pathfinder. On average, I had to fill up the Pathfinder twice a week with a 15-gallon tank. With a Prius, it's about every 8 or 9 days is my average time to fill up. So I only used 404 gallons of gas this year, with the average price again being $2.50. I only spent $1,000 $110 on gas last year, which is still a big number. But if you compare that to what I was spending before, I am saving over $2,000 a year by driving this Prius. I mean, that to me is a lot of money. I only bought this Prius for $3,000. So if I drive this car another 6 months, then I will have paid for my Prius with the money that I saved in gas. So for me, that's a no-brainer. I mean, you know, this is not some car that the ladies are going to be like, ooh, nice Prius. But I'm already married. I don't need to worry about that. It is not, you know, the end-all, save-all car for everybody. But for me, it works. If you don't care about the environment, most people care about their wallet, and if you can help the environment while also helping your wallet, why not? Gas is just going to keep getting more and more expensive. I will never not own a hybrid, I think. I'm always going to have a hybrid. And again, we have a big truck. I'm not saying anything against trucks that are useful if you're actually going to use a truck. If you're just driving around to look cool, you know, maybe you don't need a truck. But if you're using that truck, it's well worth it. So again, if you're thinking about getting a Prius or a used hybrid, it's going to save you a lot of money, especially if you drive a lot and if the car you're driving now has horrible gas mileage. So thanks for tuning in. I have a couple other videos about my Prius. Check it out. When I first got the Prius, I was curious to see how many miles I could get out of a tank, and that was kind of fun to do. But yeah, have a great day on your homestead. If you're not a homesteader, that's okay. We still appreciate you out there. And yeah, just a beautiful day at Whistle Thicket. I can't wait until Thursday. It's going to be nice and warm, 72 degrees.